that appearance of renunciation is hiding a great attachment. He's thinking that all these things are his to give up. But it's not a fact. So Prabhupada says the real logic, and this is logic, the real logic that Krishna wants us to understand, he speaks this in this Bhagavad Gita, where he says, Bhumirapo, actually it is just coming, in text 4, 2 verses ahead, Bhumirapo nala vayu, kam mano buddhir evacha, ahamkara ityam me, bina prakritirastada. He's talking about his energy, prakriti, his nature. He's in the next verse to explain there's a higher nature. This is called the Bina in this verse. 8 divisions of matter. Bina means separate from the Lord. There's some distance between the Lord and this nature. And then Prakriti me, in the next verse, my own nature is spiritual. But still this matter is also the energy or nature of God. So earth, water, fire, air, and ether, akash, these are panchamahabhutas, 5 kinds of gross matter, and then there's mind, intelligence, false ego, 3 kinds of subtle matter for ashtada, 8 types, 8 elements. So what is motor car there, or anything? Motor car is metal. What is metal? It belongs to Bhumi, to earth. So that is an energy of Krishna. Water, fire, air, ether, anything we can perceive in this world will be made up of these elements. All of these have their origin in Krishna, their relationship with Krishna. So this is what Prabhupada is saying in the purport to this verse that we've read today, is we have to know matter, spirit, and the source of both. That is the complete knowledge. That is this transcendental knowledge. To know the source. My own source as spirit is God, is Krishna. And this matter, this phenomenal world, which is troubling me, that also comes from Krishna. And so by understanding the relationship, then we can come to harmony. Then this matter is no longer troublesome. Means we have to engage this matter in Krishna's service. It is his Shakti, his energy. It is there to serve him. So our problem is that we are thinking that this matter is mine, ours. Ahamkara, this ahamkara, false ego. I'm thinking this body is mine. I'm thinking this mind is mine. And that's why it's causing me so much trouble. This is actually the energy of Krishna. And as long as we're thinking, no, it's mine, this energy of Krishna then gives us trouble. What do you mean, I'm yours? Nonsense. Boom. Hitting us, kicking us, causing us so much trouble. I'm not yours, I belong to Krishna. And until you engage me in Krishna's service, I'm going to keep kicking you. I'm going to keep troubling you, keep tormenting you. You see? Just like people, again, this renunciation. They think, yes, this sense gratification, so much trouble, it's disgusting, it's horrible, now I'll stop it. I'll stop this sense gratification. I'm going to control my senses. I'm going to become master of my senses. You see? And they try this, and then the senses are giving them even much more trouble than before. And the mind is totally going crazy. Because now they're actually trying to control the mind and senses. And the mind and senses say, you can't control us. You're not in that position. Who do you think you are? You can't control us. You try to control it. We'll show you. We'll show you you can't control us. And then people wonder, what does this mean? I mean, I'm trying to be serious. I'm trying to be spiritual. And now I'm in much more trouble than when I was just, an average nonsense person. And that is the answer to this problem is Rishikesha, Sevanam Bhaktir Uchate. That Krishna is Rishikesh. He's the master of the senses and the mind. And Bhakti, which is the yoga taught in Bhagavad Gita, means to surrender mind and senses to his control, to give them over to him. And this is what we have to learn to do. This is what the Bhagavad Gita is all about. In the beginning of Gita, Arjuna is also proposing renunciation. This battle is too troublesome. I can't bear to think of myself fighting this battle. So I'm going to quit. He told our Lord Krishna in the latter part of the first chapter. I can't do this. He put down his bow. He began to cry. For the soldier that he was, the famous hero that he was, this was astonishing. Even Krishna said, "What are you doing?" See, in the second chapter, Krishna begins speaking like that. How have you become such a wishy-washy person? You are Arjuna, the great fighter. Everyone is knowing you as being so strong and determined and fearless. And look at how you're acting, sitting down. You let your weapon for which you're famous go from your hand and you cry like a baby. You see? So Arjuna, this was his predicament he found himself in. This is too much troublesome, so I'll just walk out of here. I'll become bhikshu. This word is used. Bhikshu means beggar. It's a term actually for sannyasi. No? There are different terms of address for a sannyasi. So one, yes, sannyasi means sannyas. Nyas means to put down. So sang means everything he puts down for the service of Krishna. Anything else he does not take up except the service of Krishna. And then there's yati is another, means wandering mendicant, yati. And then there's swami, and then there's also bhikshu, one who begs. You see, he lives only by the alms given to him. He doesn't work, he doesn't earn, so to speak, trading his work for money. He lives at the mercy of God through the donations of other people. You see, so bhikshu. So this word is used by Arjuna. Let me become bhikshu, which means let me become a sannyasi or renunciate. And so we may think in the beginning of Gita, oh, this is very nice. Now I see how this book is going. Arjuna is going to walk out and become a monk, and we're going to follow him through the rest of the chapters of Gita, what he does as a monk. And we may think that this is what the Gita is about, but it doesn't go in that direction at all, because Krishna says, this is nonsense. You're talking nonsense, Arjuna. I'm not going to permit you to do this. You do not, he tells him, you do not have the adhikar, you do not have the capacity for that. That is not your business. Don't think that Krishna is deriding the sannyas ashram, but he's saying this is not for you, Arjuna. This is not for you. And what is for you? This is what he is saying. For you is to listen to what I say and do what I say. Because I am your guru. Krishna is God, first of all, and he's also acting as guru of Arjuna. So this is actually the lesson of Bhagavad Gita. Surrender to Krishna. You see, don't fight, Arjuna. Krishna is telling Arjuna, don't fight for your own reasons. That's why you're in trouble. That's why you find this fighting intolerable, because you are contemplating this battle from your own perspective. But now look at it from my perspective, what I want you to do. And you just do it for me. So then I'm taking responsibility for whatever happens. You are protected by me. So this is the essence of the Gita. And this is the way to this transcendence. This realm of our spiritual nature, this status of our actual spiritual nature, beyond the influence of matter. So now, in this Bhagavad Gita, as we're hearing here, Krishna is explaining all this to Arjuna in a very philosophical way. And for many people, you see, philosophy is difficult. But we should not think that because we find understanding all the details of philosophical explanations to be a very big challenge, we should not think that we cannot practice the Bhagavad Gita. Because actually there is an essence to this Gita. There are, as I said, there are key verses in the Gita. So, one of the key verses, Sarvadhamam Prityaja Mamekam Sharanam Braja, in the 18th chapter. This is called the Charan Shloki. That the whole Gita, Charan means peak. So the whole message of the Gita is coming to one point. And this is the point. Just surrender to Krishna. Do not fear, just surrender to Krishna. Whatever else you may be thinking is useful to your advancement, never mind that. The one thing you should make sure that you do is to surrender to Krishna. Another verse, Gita Rahasya, secret of the Gita, Manmana Bhav Mad Bhakto Mad Yajimam Namaskuru. Krishna is saying how you surrender to me in 4 ways. Manmana, always think of me. Bhav Mad Bhakto, become my devotee. Mad Yaji, you worship me. Namaskuru, you be very humble servant of the Lord and His devotees. So, see, there are key verses that show us the way, even if we are not a very intellectual or philosophical type person. We shouldn't let that scare us away. And just to make sure that anyone and everyone in this age can take up the message of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna came again. After speaking this book, 700 verses of this book, 5,000 years ago to Arjuna, he came again only 500 years ago as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We see, we are worshipping Sri Sri. Gaura Nitai, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda. These murtis here, their hands upraised. They have come 500 years ago to propagate throughout the world the Harinam Sankirtan movement. So surrender to Krishna. How do we do that? Raise your hands. Come on, raise your hands and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And there's a few other things that you take Krishna Prasadam. For example, we'll be serving Krishna Prasadam here. Take Krishna Prasadam. Yes, and when you chant with hands upraised, you also dance. That's very good. You see? And associate with devotees. Keep yourself in the association of devotees. So these are simple things. As Srila Prabhupada said, even a child can do them. They constitute, in this Kali Yuga, the full surrender to Krishna. It is so simple. But the problem is, you see, our misfortune. Now, Prabhupada explained misfortune. This is something that one really has to catch. Requires some careful consideration. Because when we hear misfortune, this word, and we know that everyone in this age is not very fortunate. So we may think that misfortune is some kind of brand of fate upon us. You see, a big finger has come out of the cloud and pointed at us, you are misfortunate. You are unfortunate. It's just the way things are for you. Can't do anything about it. And then, whatever we try to do, it's wrong. All of our plans are spoiled, and what's the use? You see, because I've got this finger of fate has pointed at me and said, you are unfortunate, you are misfortunate. But Prabhupada, he did not accept that. He said the secret to a person's fortune or misfortune is found in their choice. We are entities of choice. The soul is called tatastha, means on the border of choice. This is where we are situated. You see, we are spiritual, but our specific situation as spiritual beings is on the tatastha, on the border. And we are making choices at every moment in our life. Just like you have chosen to come here. You could have gone anywhere today. So many things are happening in the city, but you came here. And even as you sit here, after you've come here, you're still making choices. You see? You can choose to listen to me, or you can choose to think of something else. You can choose to look at the nice girl who walked in. You see, you can choose so many things, even as we sit here. If you just study yourself, From moment to moment, you see, you are making choices. You see? I'll do this, I'll think of that. I'll not think of anything, I'll just go to sleep. You see? But we're choosing. That's our nature. So, Srila Prabhupada's explanation of misfortune is one who chooses wrong. It's just something he does. He has a choice. He could have done the right thing, but he chose to do the wrong thing. You see? And the responsibility for that is with us. You can't blame anyone else. You can't say the devil made me do it. Don't, try to find some metaphysical other out there that made me do this. No. The choice was before you, but you chose as you did and created your misfortune. Very, Prabhupada Vani. This is very special explanation that we get from Srila Prabhupada. Once Prabhupada told an interesting story to illustrate this, that Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati, they came to earth and they had assumed the guise of ordinary man and woman walking together through the city. No one could see that they're Shiva and Parvati. And Lord Shiva, whenever he goes somewhere, he likes to, because he's Mahadev, the great demigod, he likes to bless people. And Parvati, she likes to choose who should be blessed by Lord Shiva. So they were walking along, and there was one fellow, wretched looking fellow. And Parvati saw this wretched looking fellow and felt compassion and said, "My dear Lord, please bless this person. You see how unfortunate he is." And Lord Shiva said to her, "I'm sorry, there's no use in my blessing that person." "Why is that?" "Because he'll only misuse the blessing." But she was insistent, no, he should become fortunate. You are Shiva, you are Mahadev, you bless him, and his life will change for the good, I'm sure. So Lord Shiva said, "All right, if that's what you want." So because they're in disguise, you see, so he gave his blessing in a seemingly ordinary way. He came up to the man and he presented him with a watermelon. You see? He had, as if he had been shopping in the market and bought a watermelon or something. So, round watermelon. And he came up, "Here, my good fellow, take this watermelon." And the man took it. "Well, thank you." And Lord Shiva and Parvati went their way. Now, the thing is that inside this watermelon, there was all kinds of the most precious gems. All he had to do would be to cut it open. And all gems, rubies and diamonds and emeralds and all kinds of wonderful gems would come tumbling out. No more problems for this man. But what did he do? There was the watermelon, he was looking at it. What am I going to do with a watermelon? I don't want a watermelon. I want money. So let me go find someone. I'll sell this watermelon to them, get a few paisa, get a few pennies. And so he went and, "Who wants a watermelon?" And someone came by, he sold him the watermelon. And he went away very happy with some coins in his hand. "Oh boy, today I got a little money, that's nice," you see. And then that person, when he opened the watermelon, he found all the gems. So it was this person's choice, you see. It wasn't some outside fate. He had the watermelon in his hand, but he thought, "I don't like this. I don't want this." You see? This is how we create our misfortune. And this is very relevant. This is a very nice example. And because this illustration of watermelon coming, the greatest wealth, the greatest gift coming in the form of water. Watermelon is very ordinary, and that's why this man thought, why should I take it? So similarly, this Krishna consciousness, as it is presented, it's, as I said, it's such a simple thing. Even a child can do it. chanting Hare Krishna, taking Krishna Prasadam, staying in the association of devotees in this way, getting purified. And by that purification, then one can follow the principles of spiritual life very nicely. You see? Everything's so simple. So it's our misfortune when we think, oh, it's too simple. You see? What am I going to do with this watermelon anyway? You see? This is what we think. I want something amazing, mystical, far out. So, who wants a watermelon? And then we go looking for something else. You see? But Prabhupada said, liberation, transcendence. It does not mean having 4 arms and 8 legs. You see, something like that. Growing extra arms, and in every arm there's some different symbol of something. Becoming a god yourself that others worship. No, it is a simple thing. It means surrendering to Krishna. And so, this is the actual message of Bhagavad Gita. This is, I said, Sarvadhamam Prachara. It's the high point of the whole book, this simple thing. And Krishna says very simply what it means. Become my devotee. Huh? Always think of me. Worship me. Be meek and humble. These 4 things constitute surrender. It's simple. This is the key message of this book. So, this is another presentation of Maya, the very complicated, mystical, you see, path. And we leave aside what is simply presented to us by God Himself, or something indirect. Prabhupada said, it is like trying to touch the nose like this. You see? The easy way, just touch your nose. But no, it has to be far out, it has to be different, it has to be mystical. So I try to touch my nose like this. You see? And this is our problem. We don't want to surrender. You see? God comes and God says, here it is. And you see, we've been rotting in the material world, going around the cycle of birth and death so many millions, countless times. And when God finally comes and says, here it is simple. But why is it so simple, Krishna? We make an objection. It's not far out enough. I'm not sure that this is, I know that you're Krishna, but I'm not sure that this is the real thing. See? So this is absurd, actually, faithlessness. So when Prabhupada in 1977, he went to Kumbh Mela. Kumbh Mela in India is, this falls about every 12 years in Allahabad and Nasik and Hardwar and Ujjain, these 4 different places, so different times, 12-year periods in each place. Then millions of Hindus gather there to take bath at a special hour, because that's the hour of nectar. If you take bath like in Allahabad, there's the Triveni, Ganga, Jamuna, and from underneath Saraswati is flowing. 3 rivers come together. Veni means confluence. So they go to that point, the confluence, and they try to bathe at that particular hour, and that's considered the hour of nectar. And then they consider liberation is guaranteed. So you see millions of pilgrims coming together to bathe at that one point. It's a very great endeavor coming from all over India. And then last Kumbh Mela they had at Allahabad, there were 30 million people. You see? It's on a riverbank. And ordinarily nothing is there, just a big sandy river. But 30, that's bigger than New York City. That's about maybe as big as Tokyo or something. It's like a whole city came together for a few days so that they could bathe at that one point. So when Prabhupada, he went to Kumbh Mela for preaching in 1977. And he requested, because he didn't want to go into the water, into the river, so he requested his disciples to bring the water in buckets from the river. And so he bathed from the buckets. And then later there was darshan. Prabhupada was having darshan, answering questions. And someone asked him, so Swamiji, we've heard you've taken snan of the nectarian water of the Triveni at the holy hour. Please tell us what it was like. And Prabhupada said, it was exactly like bathing under the tap. He dismissed it. He said, it was like taking any bath under the tap. And they were shocked. They were shocked. Swamiji is saying that about Kumbh Mela Snan? It is like ordinary. And then Prabhupada went on to explain that the real salvation, the real saving grace, or the real potent opportunity for spiritual life is here and now. And this is what Krishna says in Gita right here. Idam vakshami, I am speaking to you. In another place he says, Tatshrunu, you hear from me. So this is the actual link. That is not to deride Ganga, Jamuna, Saraswati. But you see, if one goes, like there's a saying in Bengal, the Ganga flows through Bengal on the eastern side of India. It flows through Mayapur, as we well know. But in Bengal they have it, and so people like to bathe in the Ganga. It is purifying, liberating. But they have a kind of, Bengalis are known for their wit and even sarcasm, you see. Bengalis have a kind of sharp wit, and there's many sayings in the Bengali language that they're very wise, but they have a kind of cutting edge. So one of the sayings is, every day here in Bengal, 10,000 prostitutes bathe in the Ganga. Every day. What is the sense of this? Is that they go in, these women, they go bathe in the river to get free of their sins. They've been doing sins because that's their business. And so they go in the Ganga and they bathe. And they come out. Now they're sinless. But it says every day they bathe. You see? So they come back the next day, loaded with sins, and again they take bath. So this is not the point. The point of this saying, this is not actually a good recipe for spiritual life. Although, yes, Ganga Ma, Mother Ganga, is relieving us of our sins. But if we go out again and commit more sins with the intention of coming back every day, then we are remaining sinful. And this is called Hati Snan, the bath of an elephant. An elephant famously goes to the river, goes in the river, he has that nice trunk, he can do a shower, you see, suck up the water and spray it all over him. But the first thing he does when he goes out is, with the same trunk, he gathers up dirt. I suppose he thinks that the dirt on the riverbank is a kind of, I don't know, cosmetic or something. He throws it all over himself. It's like the final touch to my bath, as I throw dirt all over myself. And then he goes off, thinking, I just had a nice bath. Hati Snan. So, you see, so these things may be there. Very nice opportunities. But the real key to unlocking liberation, the moksha dwara, like it says in the Srimad Bhagavatam, is sadhu sangha. To associate with sadhu, one who is speaking as Krishna spoke to Arjuna. That's sadhu, who cuts through our illusion. So we hear from a sadhu who's speaking his part. This is an internal bath. And then the bhava shororam, the lotus. The heart is compared to a closed lotus. So this lotus of our loving relationship with God, with Krishna, then opens. You see, and the sweet scent of love of God and the beautiful appearance of that flower becomes manifest in our consciousness. And then in this way, one loses the interest, one loses the taste, one loses the attraction to material things, to not material things in Krishna's service, but loses the attraction to enjoy these things. As I said, to think, was saying before, to think these things are mine, to possess them, control them, enjoy them. This is called kam, lust. So one loses that inclination, and all that is there is love. And so in the state of love of God, then one is engaging all of this energy only in Krishna service. And that is real liberation. That is real liberation. So this is the process, purifying the heart by transcendental sound, and that is why this chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is so essential. So this is the real bath, the real sacred bath, to hear and chant about Krishna. Shravanam Kirtam Vishnu Smaranam. To hear and chant. And so we need to take that up as a regular practice, as our habit. In this material world we acquire bad habits due to our bad association. Now we have the opportunity of good association. So we should cultivate this good habit of becoming regulated in hearing and chanting about Krishna and in serving Krishna. Take that up. And by doing so, that will unlock for us, yes, the numinous realm. What is the nature of this numinous realm? It is the nature of rasa. This is important. You see, when we hear words like numinous and when we hear the philosophical explanation, we may think that this is something intellectual, but no. It is the sweetest of sweet things, the sweetest of experiences. But it is only experienced through the pure consciousness. The consciousness has to become pure. Just like if one's mouth is filled with dirt, you see, when the mouth has dirt in it, the dirt is all over the tongue and palate, then what do you taste? You just taste something gritty and not very nice, you see. That's the taste we have in our mouth. So as long as that dirt is there, you may bring something nice to the mouth to taste, but you won't be able to enjoy it. You see, like rasgula or paramana, sweet rice. If you've got dirt, sand in your mouth, and you bring it to your mouth, you're not going to be able to enjoy it. You see, even you taste the sweet, but it'll be mixed with sand and very bad. So the mouth washed out of the heart. This is an internal bath. And then the bhava shororam, the lotus. The heart is compared to a closed lotus. So this lotus of our loving relationship with God, with Krishna, then opens. You see, and the sweet scent of love of God and the beautiful appearance of that flower becomes manifest in our consciousness. And then in this way, one loses the interest, one loses the taste, one loses the attraction to material things, to not material things in Krishna's service, but loses the attraction to enjoy these things. As I said, to think, was saying before, to think these things are mine, to possess them, control them, enjoy them. And this is called kam, lust. So one loses that inclination, and all that is there is love. And so in the state of love of God, then one is engaging all of this energy only in Krishna service. And that is real liberation. That is real liberation. So this is the process, purifying the heart by transcendental sound, and that is why this chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is so essential. So this is the real bath, the real sacred bath, to hear and chant about Krishna. Shravanam Kirtam Vishnu Smaranam. To hear and chant. And so we need to take that up as a regular practice, as our habit. In this material world we acquire bad habits due to our bad association. Now we have the opportunity of good association. So we should cultivate this good habit of becoming regulated in hearing and chanting about Krishna and in serving Krishna. Take that up. And by doing so, that will unlock for us, yes, the numinous realm. What is the nature of this numinous realm? It is the nature of rasa. This is important. You see, when we hear words like numinous and when we hear the philosophical explanation, we may think that this is something intellectual, but no. It is the sweetest of sweet things, the sweetest of experiences. But it is only experienced through the pure consciousness. The consciousness has to become pure. Huh? Just like if one's mouth is filled with dirt, you see, when the mouth has dirt in it, the dirt is all over the tongue and palate, then what do you taste? You just taste something gritty and not very nice, you see. That's the taste we have in our mouth. So as long as that dirt is there, you may bring something nice to the mouth to taste, but you won't be able to enjoy it. You see, like rasgulla or paramana, sweet rice. If you've got dirt, sand in your mouth, and you bring a spoon of sweet rice up to your mouth, you're not going to be able to enjoy it. You see, even you taste the sweet, but it'll be mixed with sand and very bad. So the mouth must become cleansed. You have to spit that dirt out, get rid of it, wash the mouth out very carefully. So similarly, the consciousness, our consciousness, must be clean. And then with clean consciousness, then we can experience the nectar of Krishna's association as his holy name. So this is the work in the beginning stage of Bhakti Yoga, to clean the consciousness, but the method of cleansing is still the same thing. You hear and chant. In the beginning, our hearing and chanting is like taking medicine. You see? Chant 16 rounds a day. Now, maybe you don't want to chant 16 rounds a day, but we should do it as medicine, and that will clear up the consciousness. And then the same chanting later becomes intensely sweet, and we think 16 rounds is not enough. I want to chant more and more and more without end. The holy name of Krishna comes naturally to one's lips at that stage. So this is the message of Gita. So I thank you very much for kindly listening, and I think we have a few minutes. So if anyone has a question. Yes? Yeah, so
is it better for them? Do they take bath in the Ganges? Then you have good karma. Then do you see it that way?
yeah, the bathing in the Ganga is meant to purify us. You see, and by bathing in the Ganga, becoming pure, and then we're in a better situation for serving Krishna. So devotees also, when we go to Mayapur, we're eager to bathe in the Ganga as an item of devotional service to Krishna. The Ganga is flowing from the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So this is a way of showing our devotion to Krishna by bathing in Ganga Ma. But whether prostitutes or anybody who is materialistic, who is what Prahlad Maharaj, in a famous verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam, he calls Grihavrata, which means he has made a vow in the heart for sense gratification. He has made a vow to remain very strongly involved in the affairs of the body, enjoying the senses. He doesn't want to give that up. So he says in this verse, Matirna Krishna Paratat Svadhoba, because of that Griyavrata, that internal conviction, vow, dedication. Therefore, Matirna Krishna, he can never understand Krishna. He can never catch what Krishna consciousness is, no matter what he does. So that means he can bathe in the Ganga, or he can do anything spiritual. But because of that inner conviction that more or less it is, I am this body and this world is here for me to enjoy, and I will go on enjoying this world. Therefore his intelligence, his consciousness always remains dark to Krishna consciousness. You see, it always remains a problem, mystery, can't quite get it. What are they doing? What does it mean? It's always, you see, difficult. You see, and then the material world, that's very easy to understand. Sense gratification. Yeah, that I know what I know what that is, but this can never quite figure it out. See, always a problem. So anybody who has that conviction, then yes, then what is their purpose for going to the Ganga? It is a kind of piety. You mentioned good karma. Yes, we can say it's a kind of good karma, but what is good karma? What is karma? Karma means material activity. It is still material. It is not spiritual. So the result may be better, you see, because they bathed and they felt they did bad things and they felt a little guilty or whatever, a little dirty from doing, so let me go to the Ganga. So that's something positive. But their intention remains material. That when I get out of this, I'm going to go back to my business as before. That won't change. So then by bathing in the Ganga, you see, their material situation in this physical world, that may improve. Their next birth may be a very nice birth, but still, even though that's there, still that lust, that determination to enjoy will still be there in the heart as before. That won't change. Because that's, as I told you earlier, that's our choice. And we as souls are choosing that, so that will remain. So then actually, although to have a nice birth is considered very desirable, for someone whose heart is infected with very strong lust, it's a very dangerous situation. You see, one gets born in, just like you can, especially in India, when one looks at the newspapers, there's always so many, one very often sees some story of some rich man's son or daughter. You see, they were born, especially the sons and daughters of big politicians. There's always scandals about these young people, because they can do whatever they like. Their father is some big shot in the government. That means the police are afraid of him. So that means this boy, this son, can go out and do any damn thing. And I've seen it in the newspaper, up to murder. They even sometimes murder other people, and the police don't want to, get involved, because this is the son of some big person and they can, chop off my legs. So I'm not going to be the one to get involved in this. So then you've got these kind of people, they're committing the most horrendous sins. They've got the silver spoon in the mouth. They've got, as you say, carte blanche. That was their good birth, you see. They got that good birth, but because of that lust, then the lust is burning without any limit. And there's nothing there to stop it, you see, because of the good karma. So, is that really a good birth? That's not a good birth at all. Materially, someone may say, oh yeah, I would like to have such a birth. In a big house, my father rich and powerful. You see, at age 16 I have my own big limousine. You see, big money in the pocket, can do anything. People will say, yes, that sounds very nice. But if the heart is polluted with this lust, then this becomes, I spoke earlier about moksha dwara, the doorway to liberation. This becomes tamodwara, the door to hell. Because this person commits such sins, such incredible sins in that position. So then, yes, he got his good karma birth, but he used that birth in such a way that he created such terrible bad karma for the life after that. You see? And you see what's at work is choice. It's always choice. It's the choice. You can't. You can get away. You can adjust by things like bathing in the Ganga. You see your situation, but you can't change your own choice. You see, unless you change your choice. But you can't expect someone else is going to do it for you. No one does it for you. Krishna doesn't do it. Krishna doesn't interfere with the independence, the tiny independence of his power of choice. The guru won't, just because one gets initiated by a guru, now somehow Gurudev is going to, control me. No, the guru just tells you what to do and what not to do, and he teaches you how to purify your life so that you can have the intelligence to make the right choice. But still, it's up to us. You see, and that's why Prabhupada always explained, it's our choice is our fortune or misfortune. So this is the situation. So they will get to good birth, yes, if they bathe in the Ganga like that. But if the heart doesn't change, what's the use of a good birth? And the change of the heart, that is up to us. Our decision. We have to make a decision. Conscious effort. We cannot just think we can fly through it by automatic pilot. This is actually material consciousness. This is a very good study to understand the difference. Clear way of understanding the difference between spiritual consciousness and material consciousness. Because spiritual consciousness is called enlightened. That means one is aware. One is aware, one is very conscious of what's going on also inside himself. And is then deliberating, making deliberate effort to go this way and not. He's conscious, he's aware of what's going to happen if I don't go this way and I go that way. But material consciousness is automatic pilot. There's a basic ignorance. Because he's in Maya. Maya is like Kokta Nidra Jao Maya in the song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Asleep in the lap of the witch Maya. Something is turned off up here. This is material consciousness. That our willpower we've surrendered our willpower to Maya. It's too much trouble, to think and to be aware. I want to sleep. I want to relax and, just let things happen to me, just go with it. Go with the flow, man. That's what they say. I want to go with the flow, man. Someone should do it for me. I'm just going to, just flow along with it. That's very dangerous. That means one is surrendering to Maya. Deep in the heart. One may, externally even take up Krishna consciousness. Everything, the tilak, the neck beads, the japamala. But if that's in the heart, that I just want to relax and flow with it, man. And Maya is going to catch you. Maya is going to find that in the heart. Yes, you want to sleep, you want to relax, you want to take it easy. Come on, come with me. I'll show you how to do that. Okay. And one is, led out of Krishna consciousness by this tamas, this ignorance, this persistent ignorance that we cling to. That's the core, the root of Maya. The root of Maya is ignorance. And this is how it manifests. And I want to take it easy life, easy going. You see? Whereas spiritual life is, when we say Krishna consciousness, it says everything. To be conscious, to be awake. You see, conscious of Krishna and Krishna's energies and how and being very careful. You see, very, very careful, very surrendered to the Lord. Being very much dependent upon the Lord's instructions and the instructions of the superior devotees, and being careful in one's association with the devotees. Not taking anything for granted, anything easy. You see? This is what it means, Krishna consciousness. To come awake. So, you had a question in the back there?
Yes, you were saying that we cannot expect the Guru to do it for us. Of course, we see devotees relying on their Guru. And they complain they don't get enough association of their Guru, personal association. So, how often should you associate with your Guru? What do you need to associate so often?
Well, like Prabhupada used to say about himself, that he had physical association, say proximal association with his spiritual master. In the whole time he knew his guru, from 1922 to 1936, in that whole period, he had about 2 weeks of, say, there's this phrase they use now, FaceTime, means face-to-face time. Kind of funny expression. So Prabhupada had about 2 weeks of association with his spiritual master in all those years. But Prabhupada used to say, used to tell his disciples, that I am never out of touch with my Guru Maharaj. Because the essence of association is less vapu. Vapu means the physical form. So vapu is important, obviously. But Prabhupada said the real meaning of association is vani. Vani is the instruction. So therefore that verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that sadhu sangha sarvashashta koi lavamatta sadhu sangha sarvasiddhi. So lavamatta means 1/11 of a second. That's sufficient association if one gets the vani. So, you see, it takes up the instruction. You see, if one can do it in just 1/11 of a second, get that instruction in the heart, then that sarva siddha koi means all perfection. All perfection will be gotten from that association, that seemingly very brief association. So you see, we have to understand what association really means. It means following the order of the spiritual master. So that's the vani, considered to be the vani. That's a form of the guru. Form as instruction. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in one poem, that he who reasons, thinks that Vaishnavas die reasons ill, because they live on in sound, and living they go spreading that sound still. I've paraphrased it slightly, but this is what he's saying. That Vaishnavas, the pure devotees, actually live in the pure vani, the pure sound vibration. And this is actually the means of real association with them. So even after the departure of the spiritual master, as Srila Prabhupada's own spiritual master had departed in 1936, but he was telling his disciples so many years later, I am never out of contact, never out of association with my spiritual master, because he's always associating with him through sound, following the instruction. So this we have to catch up. And so if one can do it in 2 weeks as Prabhupada did, or 1/11 of a second, or that's not really the consideration. It's that we should extract that essence. Without the personal association.
Those who are not able to take the best out of it without some more personal association, and they find in practical terms they're not able to associate with their guru, so how shall we compensate for that?
Oh, they're not able to associate with the guru so often. I understand your point now. Well, if that is the question, that because I'm not able to have direct association with my spiritual master, therefore I have difficulty absorbing the vani, then Prabhupada says in a purport that then one should come and live with the spiritual master. In this one purport, he's actually, it reads as if Prabhupada is making an invitation. Any of my disciples who are having problems following my instructions because of need of association, come and live with me. So, so I would say my answer to that is that anyone who is a spiritual master, who is accepting disciples, he has to be prepared to make that offer. You see, otherwise, then he should not accept too many disciples, more than he can, open up his life to. Come and live with me. You see, I think that's a reasonable demarcation there. If one accepts more disciples than he can reasonably take care of, then that's going to be a problem. But that's also up to his capacity. So Srila Prabhupada accepted so many disciples, And he invited them to live with him, but he was also associating with them in so many other ways. So, and we see now in our movement that among the most prominent preachers and spiritual masters at present are devotees who had very less personal association with Prabhupada. You see, like Radhanath Maharaj or Niranjan Maharaj, they had very little, almost no association with Prabhupada on the physical, proximal platform, but they absorbed the Vani very nicely. So you see, association with the spiritual master, it is multivalent. It's on different levels, and again, ultimately, it means by Vani. So we have to learn. It is up to us to do this. Okay, last question, because it's now 6 o'clock.
I have one. You mentioned karma and the free will generally. How the two goes together is also that if I made an action and then I get a reaction to that, is this reaction is going to be an action by itself and going to get the reaction for itself? And
Although you have to understand how karma is coming back to us. It's coming back to us in terms of our situation. You see? We, the conscious living entity, we determine what we do in our situation. The choice is up to us, but the situation we're in, that has been created by our past activities. So situation also includes the situation in the body, even in the mind. You see, because the soul is neither body or mind. So the type of mind you have, that's also your karma. The type of body you have, that's your karma. The type of family you were born in, that's your karma. The friends that you have, the city you live in, the neighborhood you live in, the neighbors you have, that's all the result of your karma. You see? But the choice you make, in the midst of that, that's you. You see? That's you. So we see even people are born, we look at people who are born in the most wretched situations. The most, like in India. In India you have very, very poor people. But you look in any place in society, poor, rich, you always find good people and bad people, don't you? You can never say it's environment. You can never say, oh, he was born in a ghetto, it was so bad, he had to. Because, maybe he was a criminal, but look at the guy living next door. He's going to church every Sunday, and he's a very religious person. The economic situation is the same. All of that is the same, but you see, the nature of the people are different. And why is that? That's because of choice. Yes?
I've also been struggling with choice because I always break my own word to myself. I make a commitment and then I break it. So.
Yeah, well, if you make a vow to yourself, that means you are your own guru. And a person who is his own guru has no guru. That's a common thing you hear in India. One who is his own guru has no guru. So this making vows works when it's to someone who is there giving us shelter, and we are not giving ourselves shelter. That's like one of those, mind puzzles. I give myself shelter. You think about it, you just become bewildered. How do you give yourself shelter? You can't. All right, so we have to stop. Thank you very much, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.